Today we're going to do a test of the Genevac Rocket system using 2 liters of winterized cannabis extract and ethanol in our 5-liter bowl rotor. And we're going to compare it against the same volume of extract dry down in a rotovap.
And on the rotovap system, we've got 2 liters, same amount of material that we are going to do a comparison with rotovap compared to the Rocket Genie and see what the results are. So we'll get the equipment started and then come back on to show the process. Okay, so now everything is set up.
Yep.
And Danton is getting started. Why don't you go ahead and get it started?
Okay, so we're using the batch medium boiling point method with preset times. So delta T will dictate the initial stage, and the final stage will be 10 minutes. We're running at a steam bath temperature of 50 C. Simply close the lid and press the play button, and the system is now going to begin evaporating.
It's a little simpler starting than with a rotovap. With the rotary evaporator, we need to make sure that we have the proper pressure, vacuum, as well as the cold finger, and the appropriate spin to get the thin film on the the separation vessel there. So we'll let that run for a while, and we'll do intermittent checks on the progress. So one of the negatives with a rotary evaporation is that you can at times get the material, or the material will bump, it will overboil and back up into the system. And you can see if we increase the vacuum, we'll start to get some bubbling of the material that could potentially bubble up through the glass and into the cold finger and into the alcohol collection vessel. It's a problem that doesn't exist with the Rocket Genie because bumping or bubbling won't impact it.
So the way the Rocket works, the reason bumping isn't quite an issue with the Rocket is that it balances the rotation of the rotor and gradually pulls the pressure down. So you can see here we're at 61 millibar, and by the end of this process we'll be down in the single-digit pressure range. And so what that does is allow for maximum evaporation speed while minimizing the risk of bumping. As you can see from the condenser, that's all the ethanol coming off, and there's fairly significant evaporation rate occurring right now. The other thing you'll notice on the display is, although the system is set for 50 C steam bath temperature, it is still working its way up there because it's still early on in the process. The chilling water is -7 C right now.
So at this point, the Rocket has almost a liter, if not more.
A liter and a half.
Liter and a half.
We're about half an hour in.
Alcohol with a half an hour. And the rotovap has, I guess it's 650 that I've emptied out, and probably another 500, so about 1.1 liters. The Rocket Genie is ahead of the rotary evaporation.
So we ran for about 40 minutes and got a little over a liter and a half. The system detected it was done with that stage, and we're draining. It's automatically draining the ethanol into the ethanol waste reservoir. So that is the condensate chamber for in-run, and then the ethanol waste reservoir is on the floor.
Okay, final results. The Rocket Genie is on the right, just under 200 milliliters. The rotary evaporator is on the left, just under 200 milliliters. So pretty comparable in removal. From the rotary evaporator, we got 1.8 liters of alcohol that we recovered, and probably about the same from Rocket Genie, so they're pretty similar results at this point. We'll let this drain down and get the final numbers.
I'm here with Jim with California Gold to discuss his experience with the Rocket 40 evaporator. First of all, how would you describe your experience with the Rocket?
Well, it was a pleasant change from what we're used to doing, and it's obviously much more high-tech than the standard equipment in the industry. So the experience was great. There are a couple factors that the Rocket provides that are both good feedback and labor saving. So there's a number of features with the Rocket that are better than the traditional methods that we use.
Do you want to go into those features a little bit?
Sure. A couple of features are the fact that we can process more volume. There is feedback because we can look at the graphs and the statistics of what's going on to our process. And lastly, once you set it, you can walk away. So those are big differences between that and what we use, which is a traditional rotovap.
I guess that kind of leads to the next question. How does it, you kind of answered, but how does it compare to a rotovap?
Well, a rotovap is high labor intensive because you have to watch the process. You have to make sure that you don't bubble up into your material that you're trying. So into your, in this case, in ethanol. And the fact that you have to stand there and watch it, monitor it, and you really are tied to it is a big difference. So that's, to me, the major difference. With the Rocket, once it's dialed in, once you have the settings in there, you can set it, push the button, watch it, start up, and walk away and do other tasks. So it's fully automated.
Perfect, and that I would assume is a positive impact on your workflow.
Big impact, big impact. We just processed some through a rotovap last night, and it took 4 hours with the material that we had. And
roughly what volume were you?
We had a liter.
Liter, okay.
It was 1 liter, and it took 4 hours. And we had to watch it for most of the time. You really can't turn your back because with a rotary evaporator, when you turn your back, that's when it's going to boil over. The difference is you could easily handle, I think it's up to 5 liters in the Rocket.
5 liters in the bowl, and then as many liters as you want if you have a larger bulk solution.
Right. So you can a minimum of 5 liters, or not a minimum, but that without doing an auto feed, you can easily put in 5 liters of starting material and clean that up. Whereas with the rotary evaporator, again, 4 hours for 1 liter.
Excellent. Well, yeah, it sounds like it worked out well for you, I guess. What would you say to others who are considering a Rocket and who are currently using a rotary evaporator?
Well, we like it. We like it a lot. It's certainly a different piece of equipment than a rotary evaporator, and it's reflected in what we do as a cost-benefit analysis. If we're doing smaller runs like we are now, it doesn't make sense. But when we do larger runs, it's gonna be essential. I mean, we just can't have people standing around a rotary evaporator watching it and not doing anything else. So as our business grows, we see that it would be an integral piece of the business.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. Do you have anything else you want to add? Or?
No, I think it was great. I think the company, SP Scientific, has been great, and Danton and Don have been real helpful in getting us through the process. And we look forward when we can have the machine here on a full-time basis and make full use of it.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks.